What's up, guys? How's it going? Just wanted to jump on really quick and record some tarot for you. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Feel free to like, share, follow, comment, subscribe. Feel free to reach out for a one-on-one reading. Spirit of gratitude, joy, love, and light, highest possible messages at this time. Spirit of gratitude, joy, love, and light, highest possible messages at this time. Let's see what comes out. We've got the Four of Wands in the reverse. This is a divorce energy. This is also after the party, picking up after the fact, coming out of Aries season, maybe even leaving springtime energy. Death card is leaving something in the past, something that didn't work out here, seeing the horizon of a brand new future, of a brand new day. Death isn't literal. It can be if you've recently experienced a loss. Four Swords in the reverse speaks to needing to recharge. You know, I'm getting that you've been through a lot. You've processed a lot cyclically, a lot of cycles. Let's see. Okay, a lot of giving your power away in the past is kind of what I'm seeing here as well. That Emperor in the reverse, Six of Swords in the upright is someone having traveled away from the homestead of the Hermit in the reverse. Someone is at a crossroads decision here, or could have been at the past. Yes, that Three of Wands is coming out. Bright future here. This is inner discipline. I think this is wanting to work towards doing things the right way. Five of Pentacles in the upright is moving in poverty consciousness, so it's almost as if you continued to move with this relationship or situation or employer, then you would have continued to move in poverty consciousness, essentially. So it needed to end for that very reason. It wasn't anything personal, it was objective, it was, meaning to get you to the next place in life. Ace of Wands, I think, is a presentation of the real here with the Four of Wands popping out here again, if you do the tarot math there, as I like to call it. Ace of Wands in the upright is fiery, passionate, fire sign, new start, could be the summertime energy. Leading to essentially the Four of Wands or rods in the upright, which is marriage, wedding, union. It's almost as if you had a false start with a karmic soulmate, a karmic twin flame soulmate, and now the real deal is coming out in Three Swords in the upright, is processing this heartbreak so you could kind of reach and find your spiritual depths. Okay, the swords are thought, logic, reason, limitations. And so when you're pulling them out, you're realizing that all the myriad levels of love and all the different interpretations and definitions still remain. One of them being your connection to source. You always being at the right place at the right time. Okay? The person you need to be is not out there. It's not anywhere in space and time other than right here and right now. And so the more that you kind of mull over that and ruminate and stand and sit true into that, and then that's when things start rushing. That's when you start attracting rather than chasing. Also, there was, again, that Four Swords in the reverse, and so you may be feeling like you're going through this kind of licking your wounds period. You are rejuvenated, and you're going to be hot out the gates, fresh off the presses, as I like to always say, with the Knight of Wands in the upright. This is a fast, fiery start. The Page of Cups in the upright is keeping in contact, in touch with the divine via your spiritual practices, your spirituality, your spiritual nature that you bring with you everywhere you go. The fish head sometimes is interpreted as like not quite, like having to like kiss your sister, like kiss the frog or the fish lips. Six of Swords or Six of Pentacles in the upright. This is being breadcrumbed, maybe feeling like things are trickling in at a snail's pace, and yet you're still being asked to be ready for the real deal with the Knight of Cups in the upright at the bottom. Seven of Rods in reverse. Excuse me. Openness and vulnerability. Not closing yourself off again with that Three of Swords in the upright energy. Thought, logic, reason, taking control and command over your life circumstances. So remember, that's like the old kind of Newtonian model. I always like to bang the drum on, like, you got to think quantumly, you got to think spiritually, you got to think that everything is here and now. In the quantum field, time and space, to my understanding, really don't exist. And so that's why everything becomes, what are you attracting? What are you gravitating? What are you, all of your wants and desires and needs, you're attracting here and now. So, and rightfully so, we have the Empress here in the reverse. This is her giving birth. She's with child. She's the mother of the tarot. She represents good omens in regards to money, love, relationships. So you might be feeling like you're going through some turbulence, through some labor pains, but that's just because something really good is coming through. No matter, how much, the Facebook news or the Fox or CNN or the mainstream wants to just perpetually, continuously give you this shit signal of fear and economic collapse. And that's the old kind of Newtonian model that we're talking about, where they're purposely pushing the buttons and pulling the triggers that they know are in you. They know that it's that act of survivalism that's in everybody, and so they're manipulating that. And so the spiritual war, the quantum war, is to understand that abundance prevails. The sun, solar energy is not a problem. Resources is not a problem. That's a construct of the matrix. And so some would argue that fear mongering and news headlines, all of that is to keep people's minds and hearts and souls in a survival fight or flight state, because when you're in that fight or flight state, you can't think rationally, and then you go into a panic. Basically, you can argue that some people are trying to purposely tank the economy, purposely tank the country, so that you could reap reward from that, and then begin to build again. That's essentially what a pyramid scheme is, and that's why they have a pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. You can almost look at countries as like corporations, essentially. Once they're done kind of siphoning the energy resources from the land or from whatever they're getting their resources from, then they move on. That's why countries topple and are raised left and right, so historically. But nonetheless, this is all still, I believe, like quantumly figured and based, because if you can maintain your own homeostasis and keep the kind of higher cognitive capacities at hand, then you won't be knocked into fight or flight mode. One of my favorite practices against being triggered or overwhelmed is the use of mantra, famously. More recently, focusing on your breath, maybe a marriage of the two. Meditation, just kind of taking care of yourself energetically. We're in Mercury retrograde, we're in Pluto retrograde, so a lot of shit is mechanical, technological, communicative delays, but it's meant so that you could redouble back and learn and grow and gain experience under your belt. Today's been a very kind of low energy day for me, just literally like sunbathing, and like gave myself a haircut earlier, and like I'm thinking of Nick Kroll has a character on Kroll's show where he's like a European college kid. The college kids that like stay in a hostel, or I don't know what the gist of it was that, but he's explaining like what he what he eats for breakfast, and it's like, maybe we'll do something like a cigarette and like half a bottle of wine, something cool, like a chocolate bar. I don't know why I was thinking about that. But anyways, interestingly enough, what that does speak to also is management of resources. Temperance in the reverse. This is feeling as though you're out of divine timing. You're not attracting friends and family, soulmates. It's also a need for the nostalgic past. So like I was watching like Power Rangers on Netflix the other day, last night, and like it really triggers this kind of deep, profound realization that like home is like where the heart is. Home is in your memory. Home is in you tapping into and keeping the past alive, or the traditions alive, or the things that you're fond for alive. Tower card in the upright is a falling now. This is divine intervention, though. It's never just disaster for the sake of disaster. It's always for the sake of bringing souls together, or bringing people together that need to meet or cross paths. Fool card is hesitation for a leap of faith. Ace of Swords is victory, incoming communication, more God, divine influence here with the odds. Those are God's gifts, these little lightning bolts, flames around the sword. Falling out of life path or twin flame. Again, this is all illusion that we're talking about. This is old Newtonian language. You can never really fall from your twin flame. Twin flame is an external projection of the internal true whole self. It's only the egoic nature that wants to experience life that, goes through these dramatic ups and downs emotionally, this conflict. But really, it's all just the human family, okay? Human. Cycles still need to be complete here. You're working on growing value and worth. 7 of Pentacles of Virgo energy. Maybe seeing a complete kind of flip of the script in a good way by fall. 2 of Pentacles in the reverse right now. Maybe feeling like you can only move a certain way, but again, it's all feeling based, right? It's all quantum based. So we're Wi-Fi signals, we're attractors as well, so make sure that you put that signal out there, because you're going to get it back in a good way. 10 of Cups in the upright. This is that kind of high watermark, that ideal that is possible. So dream a pretty dream, and make sure you mind your P's and Q's, what you're spelling, with your language, because your language is a trigger, is an activator to that kind of quantum emotion. Whether it's poetry, whether it's music, whatever art that you're putting out there, it's all one kind of verse, right? It's all one conversation, one song with the universe, one song, one verse. I see you being victorious. I mean, is there any other way? If this is a dream, if life's a dream, then this is your dream. So, you're gonna dream a pretty dream. You got 2 choices: love or fear. You got 2 choices: comedy or tragedy. Why not make this a love-filled comedy? High Priestess in the reverse is getting caught in the subjectivity of the now. Remember that subjectivity is what you were kind of inherited. It's not what really is. Again, that's all old school Newtonian, measurements and all that stuff. 4 of Cups in the reverse, being emotionally open, but also not being anyone's fool. Remember, if you're reading headlines, if you're reading Facebook headlines and all that stuff about the news and the crypto crash, and it's all fear-mongering. You got to understand that all of this is to manipulate the pheromones and the fear and the energetic level. And I didn't mean the pun of what is it? The word fear, in phonetically, in the word pheromones, P-H-E-R-O, pheromones. But, when you are in a fight or flight, you're palpably, your heart energetic field is reduced. You do have, I always said that, human beings, we're like little ants, right? Like, we literally put out those chemicals, love, fight or flight, harmony, things like that. So, it's almost like you're putting out a trail, you're putting out a scent of warning others and yourself. And so it ends up becoming a very palpable thing that creates our reality. And so you have to be very mindful. Recently, a phenomenon on YouTube especially is talking in code and shit. People can't say anything that they want. These private corporations are going against the Constitution, and yet how else are we kind of technocratically connected with each other? And so then, you start to continue to talk Newtonian versus quantumly. Well, we all are in this kind of web of connectivity, whether we know it or not. So, always be mindful of that and what you're putting out there, as well as, Joe Dispenza always talks about, like, how you want, like, your inside self to match as closely to your outside self as possible. And that's, like, being purely present. But, of course, we also kind of live in, like, these crazy hustling, bustling towns and shit, or cities where we have to, like, walk around like old gunslingers in the West, and we gotta, like, protect ourselves because we're all, like, vulnerable beings in the human family. So you have to kind of find that, like, that balance between, like, being in the world but not of the world, and also seeing the bigger picture of, like, we're all part of the human family, and if there's, like, these crazy ragers, you gotta, like, kind of deal with them with love, like, both inside for yourself so that you don't get kicked into fight or flight mode, and then the love for them, and that you don't kind of, like, throw anger or hate or rage back out there to them, because it's just you throwing it out to yourself. Seven of Swords in the reverse, straight and narrow, hitting a beeline to whatever it is that you want. Financial freedom, independence, the model girlfriend, the mansion, the car. Again, all kind of outdated, cartoonish interpretations of desire. Really, desire is a low frequency state as well. So you could even almost say that in a way you already have everything that you want external to yourself. And so you say thank you for it. And then you just kind of set your intention and forget it. Set it and forget it, like these old infomercials. High Priestess in the upright. Knowledge of the esoteric, knowledge of the tarot. This is Capricorn, Cancerian, Pisces. I've heard people say Scorpio. There's an apricot there. Some say that you boil that and drink it and that cures cancer. I don't know. Vitamin B17 or something like that. More marriage. So who knows? Maybe this summer or this kind of springtime. By the end of springtime, you're gonna marry someone, or you're gonna find someone that you can marry, I should say. Twos are about duality. You can see the duality depicted here. High Priestess sits as harmony between strength and wisdom. Fours are about stability. Nines are about independence here financially. So I think that you're going to set yourself up for financial freedom, independence, kind of picturesque, picture perfect as you would have imagined and dreamed and hoped for. And you may have done it in this kind of like whirlwind, crazy trail path kind of way, but maybe you did it nonetheless if this resonates with you. But that marriage card, some sort of union is afoot, which is cool. So yeah, I think I might leave it there. More High Priestess just wanted to flash. Where is she? I know you'll take my word for it, but she seriously just flashed somewhere again. Yeah, here. I just put her in there. So, alright, I'm gonna leave it there. Reach out for one-on-one. Holler at your boy. Peace.